All right, all right. What's up, everybody? I'm pretty excited about this one here. I'm getting Coach Bobby on. Bobby Arnold's his actual name, but we everybody that knows him as Coach Bobby. Uh, I met him about probably 5 or 6 years back. I actually hired him to be my coach to get myself ready for a fitness show that I decided to get into. But this is Coach Bobby right here. Bobby, what's going on, man? How are you doing today?
Nothing much. Everything's going good. I'm glad to be here.
So where are you at these days?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was in Houston for 24 years. And I came back home after Hurricane Harvey. So I've been here now for about this is my fifth year.
Okay, that's right. Harvey was a tough one, man. That thing, it displaced a lot of people. We got a lot of rain there. I remember that pretty distinctively. I think some areas got up to like 48, 52 inches of
Yeah.
rain.
Yeah, it was a bad one.
You got hit
Real
pretty
bad.
hard. You got hit pretty hard by that, didn't you?
Yeah, house, cars. Unfortunately, I was going through a divorce at the time, and unexpectedly, I had clients like you I was working with and getting ready for shows. So with everything going on, I was just trying to honestly back then, Wendell, I was just trying to keep it all together at the
Hmm.
same time, going through it, man. But God is good. I made it through it, and you did well. Everybody, honestly, back then that I was putting in shows, you, Cedric, Kayla, Kyla, everybody placed in their show somewhere. So
Yeah,
I couldn't ask for anything more.
yeah. I mean, the proof's in the pudding, they say. And I mean, you had a history in bodybuilding. You were a pro bodybuilder yourself, so obviously that was one of the reasons that I went with you, because if I was going to do that, I wanted somebody that knew what they were doing and knew how to prepare for that. And you were definitely the man for it.
I appreciate that.
So when did you start your into your bodybuilding career?
I kind of started my bodybuilding career um, from a dare. Um, I was at a bar with some friends of mine, and Ronnie Wagner and good old boys, Texas. I'm sure you know a lot of good old boys, friends of yours back home, and I had some too there. Got some there, and everybody was competing. I was kind of the guy that was hanging with the guys that did shows. I was working in a health club, but I was actually on the sales side. I was a sales manager, and when you start drinking alcohol and you nobody's spilling any, everybody's drinking it all, and I was one of them, and everybody started throwing the stuff around, and my buddy told me you couldn't do it, and I said I can do it, and he said no, you can't. I said I tell you what, I'm gonna do a show in 1997, and he said okay, and he said, well, MF, if you don't, we ain't gonna never let it go. We're gonna bring it up to you. If you don't, you gotta do it now. So I had to do it, and I was in my first show. Rodney Fisher, who owns a company called BSN Labs in
Yep.
Houston, he actually worked with me. A good friend of mine, Rod, was, and he did my nutrition for me. And was 16 people in my class, and I placed in the top three, and from there I kept going from there. And but kids were growing up. I got the family first and the education second. So my oldest kids were growing up. One of my boys, all of them played basketball actually, and Alex went on. He was the oldest, and he went on to Florida State. He got drafted into the NBA. So me making the decision to kind of back away from the stuff that I had going on, it worked out well because he did go to the pros. He got drafted, and from there on, I went to the behind the scenes deal. running a bunch of health clubs, goals and worlds and powerhouse clubs. And so I got educated on the nutrition side through my coach and also schooling. And then I started putting people in shows myself. And from there, it just kept moving, kept going.
Yep. So how long from start to finish was your actual where you were competing? How many
I would say
years?
about 8 years, 9
Okay.
years. Yeah.
Okay. And how many shows would you say you competed in if you had to guess?
Um, a bunch, probably more than 14.
You were what heavyweight? What
I
you were?
was a heavyweight when I first started because I've never been a small person. And then as time went by, I worked my way up to super heavyweight
Yeah.
before I stopped.
Well, I remember
And
seeing a few of the pictures of you on stage, and you were. I mean, I don't. If I had to guess, looking at the pictures, I would say you were probably 240, 250 on stage, which is probably
yes,
2%
yeah,
body fat or something like that. I don't know, but
yeah. Back then, I was around that because you did a show, so you know how long it takes for us to get down, and when you're not eating a lot of fat and you're doing a lot of cardio, it don't take long if you're dedicated.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I competed at 250 when I was a super heavyweight, and that was my heaviest. Before I walked away, my last show was the John Sherman, which was a national qualifier in Houston at U of H, and I placed third out of the big boys. Some guys standing next to me, they were close to 260.
Mm.
We were the biggest boys there back then, the super heavyweight class, and it's a lot of eating. Wendell, you know how that
Oh
goes.
yeah.
4 to 6 meals a day, and not a lot of cheating. Or you know how that goes. You don't look the way you looked and I looked by cheating.
Yeah.
So
I definitely don't miss some of those
yeah,
days, which I think we had. I remember a distinctive conversation that me and you had whenever we were. It may have been when we first met because I think we met at like a Starbucks or something like that, and that's before I knew you, before you knew who I am.
hmm
Uh, and I'm not if I'm anything, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Like I mean,
yep,
there may not be a whole lot of other stuff about me that people don't know, but if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to give it all I
yep,
got whenever I do it.
yep.
Um, but I remember you saying better be careful because you might get addicted to this. And I looked at you and said, "Nope, I'm a one and done guy."
You
uh,
sure did.
which means I didn't just by saying I'm a one and done guy meant I knew going into it that I only wanted to do one show.
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean that I didn't give it everything that I had to get to it.
that you did.
Uh, but I mean, you're probably one of the most inspirational guys I've ever met. So I mean, right off the bat, whenever I met you, and just the conversation, just the aura that you carry, just the way you carry yourself, it was very obvious that you knew what you were doing. So it was
I
an easy
appreciate.
decision for me to say, "Yep, let's go with it," and then the fun started.
Yeah, sure did. Yeah, it sure did. Yeah.
uh,
Bodybuilding is an interesting sport. And it is a sport, as you know, because of the training that you and me did. It was tough, man. At times things were hurting that never hurt before, which we had remedies for: HMB, creatine monohydrate, take a little vitamin this and vitamin E. And you were living in GNC at the time because when you're training like you were for your competition, um, there's not a lot that you can do to avoid some of the pain because as your body fat starts to drop, there's not a lot of fat, on your body to subside for some of the weights, the tonnage that you're lifting. So, you gotta understand the part about the supplements. The supplements are like getting your vehicle service if you drive it every day. Like I told you, You got to take supplements or something's going to get hurt, and you were taking a lot of stuff out of GNC then, vitamin D, vitamin E from everything. But it
Yeah.
took that in order for you not to risk any injuries.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
actually remember, and you had me taking shark cartilage for a little bit, and
Yep.
still to this day, when I talk to people, and they'll be like, oh, I mean, I'm doing fish oil, and I was like, have you ever tried shark cartilage? And
Mm-hmm.
they're like, what is that? And I'm like, well, I used to take it all the time. I took it
Yeah.
daily as part of my routine. I said, and it kind of helps with the joints and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I had never heard of it until there's a lot of things I hadn't heard of. And, until we started doing that prep, and there's a lot of workouts that I had never done. I can tell you one thing, if anybody ever wants to call this man right here for 4 sessions, you don't never know what you're getting coming to when you show up. Don't even try to guess, because you're never going to figure out what the hell this man's playing. I used to tell him, I think there's a couple times I told him, I think you make this shit up as we go. Because he has the best ways to torture a human being on the planet.
Appreciate
But it works. He's got there's a means to the madness, but I will tell you and another thing, just for anybody, if you watch this podcast and you want to reach out to Bobby Arnold does not know how to count. He'll tell you, all right, get down there and we're gonna do 10 reps. So you start counting in your head and you're like, all right, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, give me 3 more. And you're like, what? I just counted 10. And then you get about 2 into them 3, and he goes, all right, give me 4 more. So I don't know what college Bobby went to, but don't go there, because they don't do math very well.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's the best way to train somebody, because the way it is with training, Wendell, and when you asked me about that jokingly, and anybody else that I train for shows, or when you start going, the intent really is for 10, but the coach kind of goes by what he's seeing. So the reason why I asked for 3 more is because I actually see 3 or 5 more. And if I shortchange you, man, the muscles just ain't gonna change. We got to push it to that point where you're feeling it and starting to hurt a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
So
you definitely were good at it.
yeah,
It was Those were probably some of the hardest workouts still to this date that I've ever done, because I was not, I wasn't new to the gym. I'd been to the gym before on my own, and I, went in and did my pyramid sets, or my normal 3 sets of 10, or whatever you normally would do in the gym that your body gets accustomed to.
yep,
Uh, but I learned a lot from just when your body don't know what's fixing to happen. It's pretty amazing the results that you get. So
oh yeah,
that's the benefit of hiring a man like Bobby that knows. And then you just go in there open-mindedly and just kind of turn yourself over to him, and make sure, or anybody that's, if you give yourself to them and then you do the work, you will get the results. Like, I mean, but you have to do the work.
that's right.
They haven't made that magic pill yet.
Mm-mm. Nope, nope, nope. And we, like I was telling you, and I was told to me by my coach Johnny West, was that I'm gonna say 90 days, might 4 months, but it might take 7 months, because everybody is different. Kind of like if you got any kids, when they start walking, everybody's gonna start walking kind of at a different time. And when that body starts to accept what we're doing to it, I don't have a crystal ball, and I can't tell you, pinpoint anyway, when you're gonna actually be there.
Mm-hmm.
Be there. But unfortunately, it's kind of like going to work, and you're doing the work, but I'm not getting paid yet. And that's kind of how bodybuilding is. The body just doesn't respond. And Wendell, when you may have been at it and dedicated, not cheating on my diet, showing up for these sessions, and I know I look all right, but I'm just thinking, man, I should look better, you know. But
Yeah.
it just doesn't happen that way,
Yeah.
you know that.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's a different lifestyle. Like,
yeah,
it made me appreciate, these people, these fitness models and these people
yeah,
that stay in that kind of shape their whole life.
mm-hmm,
Because it's different. I mean, there's not a whole lot of enjoyment on the food side of things that, I can remember, I think I was in a little bit of a slump. I don't remember at what point in time we were in training, but I kind of reached out to you because at the time I was eating a lot of cod. Like I was
mm-hmm,
pretty heavy on the cod. And
yeah,
I was like, I need some help, Bobby. Like I'm gagging, I'm eating it, but I'm gagging the stuff
yeah,
down.
mm-hmm,
And Bobby looks at me and he goes, all right, I got something for you. He said, go to the grocery store and go to the baby food aisle. And I was already, my brain's already thinking like the baby food aisle. And he's like, and get you some sweet peas and
yep,
pour it over your cod like gravy. And
yeah,
so just so you guys know, that was my reward. That was,
yeah,
that was the,
that's right,
that was the reward to my needing help, was to put
that's right,
peas on my cod.
yeah, that's right. Because at some point I couldn't tell you to do that because you couldn't put that even that in your body at that time. So that was a reward.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you had worked your way up to where I could throw that in, so to speak.
It
You
got
know,
better when I found I reached out to to Roman, and when Roman started doing my meals, which, you know, just so everybody knows, I had found a prep guy that would do all my meals for me. But Bobby, so just to kind of let you know how Bobby works, I would get a weekly meal. Like Bobby would send me uh, a meal plan for the week, so it would have my meals broke down, every single meal, every single snack, and everything that you should take in. So I had took that meal plan that Bobby gave me, and I found this guy named Roman, and he had started making well, I told Bobby, and Bobby's like, well, I need to talk to him. So Bobby had to make sure and talk to this gentleman and make sure that he wasn't putting anything but what was on that list
that's right.
in my meals. But it definitely got
Yep.
better when he started making them, because the time of me prepping them, and then just, the ease of just going to pick them up and warm them up definitely made life a little easier.
Oh yeah. Oh
But so how much different has the, like, from your days coming up when you were super heavyweight to what you're, the meals that you're giving to your people you're training now, are they pretty close to the same, or has it changed
pretty
over the
much.
years? Pretty close.
Yeah, everything is pretty much the same with me. The only thing that's changed, to be honest with you, Wendell, is which is for the better, technology. Like right now, what we're doing with these phones, and I see you and you see me, and you're a long way from where I am physically, and same thing, vice versa, me. So I can still have a relationship with the people that I had relationships with there with you in Texas, and because I've got Cedric, JD, Nick, and Allison. I've got 4 clients in Houston now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Isla got her pro card this year.
Oh yeah.
She went here. She went pro, and I did it all with this thing that I'm holding, looking at you.
Yep.
So technology has given us that,
Yeah.
virtual training. But other than that, um, as far as the nutrition goes, there's not a lot that me or you can change about that. It's like the wheel on the car, man. It was there before I got there.
Right.
Using the same type of stuff that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Samir Banu and Franco Colombo, all the iconic guys, they couldn't even come back into this industry and change things from the way they did it back in the 60s. So it kind of is what it is. But technology wise, you can train people and still work with people because of the virtual thing going on,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know?
it's pretty popular now. I've seen that there's a lot of
Yeah.
online coaching, which is good. It's good for somebody like you because
Mm-hmm.
it expands your network, you're not just limited to the people that are local to you. You can train anybody in anywhere in the world.
That's right. That's right. That is correct.
It's kind of that way with everything, though. That technology,
Hmm.
sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. In that case, it's a good thing, but
Right. Right.
then
Well, the biggest
sometimes we
thing
can't
I
get
do
away
want
from
to,
it.
yeah, yes. The biggest thing I want to say, when I met you, and when our mutual friend told me about you, um, everybody can't work with a guy like me because I guess you can call us old school.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't even consider myself a personal trainer because I train personal trainers too. I put them in shows also. So that's why I refer to myself now as a coach. And because of the stuff that I'm going to require you to have to do, and the conversations, you know how many times we were on that phone just talking about
Mm-hmm.
that show and about what you had to do and about what you didn't do, you know, and we're going to get right tomorrow. Yeah, we spent a lot of time on the phone, man. A
We did.
lot of, and most people, window is just not that serious for
Yeah.
them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
because of the individual that you are, a guy like you would be ideal for a guy like me. And I'll try to work with anybody. But like I told you up front when we first met, if you can't take certain things, constructive criticism and just the type of workouts that we did, I'm not gonna be the one for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not.
I remember you being pretty upfront about that. And
Yeah.
I, of course, said I don't have any problems with any of that.
Mhm.
I'm the guy for you
Yeah.
because I can take anything you can throw my way. Usually, I'm pretty good with. And there's definitely quit is definitely not something that I've always been very accustomed to. Like I'll quit when I'm done after
Right.
when I complete the mission or whenever, whatever, however you want, whatever the
Right.
objective is in front of me, whenever I finish it, I will quit.
There you go.
And then
Yep.
I may never do it again, which I
Yeah.
haven't.
Yeah.
But I always suggest, like when I talk to people, and the conversation comes up, like I may talk to a younger gentleman and he'll be saying, you know, I'm thinking about doing a show. Cause a lot of times you can tell when you see somebody, uh, if they're in that world, if they're, you know, maybe they're thinking, and I tell everybody, if you're thinking about it, you should do it.
Yep.
It's, you know, even if it's a once in a lifetime thing, if
Yep.
you're thinking about it, you should just go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people love it; they never get out of it. Some people, like me, I wouldn't say I didn't. If I were a younger man, I might have would have stuck with it a little more. But I was 45 years old. You know, I
Yeah.
think at the time when actually the day that I competed, I think I was 45 because I remember talking to the gentlemen that were in my class, and I was 10 years older than everybody that was there that day.
Wow.
Yeah, which was
Wow.
crazy, which blew my mind.
Yeah. Wow. How old are you now?
I'm 50.
Wow. And you were 45 when you were did that show with me.
I was 45.
Wow. Yeah.
Probably
That's amazing.
best shape of my life at 45 years old.
Yep. You sure were. I got a little clip. I'm gonna let them take a look right here. Showed you earlier of you.
Oh man, that's in the torture. That's part of the torture
Mm-hmm.
pull ups. Those were one thing that I remember every time we went in the gym, we started and finished with pull ups.
There you go. Blow the air out of that. Blow it out. There you go. That's
Definitely doesn't look like a 45-year-old.
it. Oh, it doesn't, huh?
Now
Yeah, man. You were in shape. I
you
gotta
had
say.
you had a lot of though at that time. I mean, you had Kyla, which I've talked to Kyla. You were training Logan. Me and Logan actually train together sometimes. Logan's killing it. I still follow Logan on social media. I don't talk to him, but I still keep up with him when he's got his thing going on. You know,
Yeah.
but you had a handful of clients at that time that were really just doing pretty well. And that's another reason that I went with you, because I'd seen, I'd seen Kyla's pictures, I'd seen Logan's pictures. I don't
Mm-hmm.
even remember now how I got your name. Who put us
Let
together?
me see. I think it was a woman who was friends with my ex-wife. Not Marty, but she was a brunette, and
Yeah.
she worked out at LA Fitness where you worked out.
Yep.
But I cannot
I
call
don't.
her name right now. But it was my ex-wife, Wendy, Marty, and the woman that told me about you.
Yep. Now I remember. You're right. I don't remember her name
She was
either, but I
brunette,
do remember.
short, kind of Italian looking,
Hmm.
maybe. That's all I remember about her.
Yeah, because I started that when, obviously originally I was going to do it do it. I wouldn't say on my own, but whenever I came up with the idea that to do this, I remember distinctly. I was sitting on the couch. I'd kind of let myself. Like I said, I'd always been in the gym and
Right,
always taken pretty good care of myself, but I had kind of. It had been a couple years, and I had gotten up to like 240, I think, or something like that. And I remember looking at the wife and saying, "I think I'm going to do a physique show." And she was like, looked at me kind of like I was crazy, and she said, because Kenny, you met Kenny, she came from the personal
yeah,
training world. She's now, she's in the coaching world now, like she does business coaching and stuff. But she came from the personal training world, so she was like, I mean, if you're going to do one, I'm okay. But she also didn't want me to stay in the game, which I told her,
right.
no, that's a one-time thing. So I went upstairs. I remember going upstairs, getting online, looking at, never even, didn't know the first thing about bodybuilding. Went upstairs, found a show that was like 10 or 11 months out in Houston, registered, signed up for it that
Oh,
day, and then started just going to the gym on my own. And then I hired a personal trainer out of Gold's Gym, and I tried working with him for a little bit. And he didn't do bad. I mean, I don't have anything negative to say. He did great. Like he got me a good start. But then I started going more toward to LA Fitness, and I think that's when I met the lady that that introduced us.
okay.
And then, obviously when I met you, it was on then, like, I was with the right person, and everything just kind of fell into place, and it got done.
Yep, yep. What do you think the hardest part of that competition for you was?
For me personally, it's the actual, because I am not a type of person that wants to be in front of people. And I told you that when we first signed up. I said, I'm only
Yep.
doing this because I need to get in shape. And
Right.
if I don't have a goal, I won't do it. I said, so I'm not looking forward to getting on stage. Like, that is not
Yeah.
why I'm doing this thing at all.
Right.
Uh, and I think I told you my biggest weakness is going to be posing. And
Yeah.
that was probably why I finished third instead of anywhere else, was because
Yeah.
I was not comfortable on stage. I
Yeah.
knew I wasn't going to be comfortable on stage, but I said I was going to do it. So I did it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think Mike, he did your posing, right?
Yeah, and Mike's great. Mike did great. I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoyed going to the sessions with Mike.
Yeah.
Mike was an outstanding man, and he was also a very good coach himself. He had a really good gym going on there in the
Yeah.
Woodlands. I
Yeah. He
think it was
did.
called the Body Specialists or something
That's
like that.
it. Yep.
Yeah,
The body specialist. They still open, and he passed away last year. Mike
yeah.
did. Yeah.
How old was
That's
Mike?
51.
Man, he didn't look 51.
Mm-mm.
Still young though. Still
Still
super young.
young.
Super young.
Yeah. We're still trying to get over it because it shocked everybody.
Yeah.
You know, still trying to get over that one.
So how many people you got training right now that are competing?
A couple.
Couple.
I got my biggest one is still Kyla, because she's the only pro I got. So she's the biggest one that I'm working with right now. Actually, Wendell, because of the way Atlanta is, you've done business here with what you do in your
Hmm.
company for a living. It's Atlanta's the new Hollywood
Yep.
out here. So um, I'm working with several people is absolutely nothing to do with working or bodybuilding. I'm working with a musical artist. He's actually called Cowboy.
Okay.
He's he's from a small town, and he mixes country music with rap. Jonathan Glenn, I'm working with him. Producers in the music industry, I'm working with them. I'm working with a doctor, a friend of mine there when I was training you, Dr. Robert Zerwin, excuse me, in Houston when I was training you there. Well, his son was younger when I was training him. He's now out of medical school and he's a doctor, and they transferred him here to Atlanta. I'm working with his son here.
Okay.
So I'm not working with as many competitors here that I was working with in Houston.
Okay.
Uh, it's more, I guess you can say, normal people that I'm working with. But most of the people that I am working with, they were referrals like you were.
Okay.
They came through somebody that knew me,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I'm sure they get the same punishment whether they're competing or not. I'm sure
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no, if I know Bobby, there's no easy
Yeah.
days. It doesn't matter what you're training for.
Oh, yeah. All day, man. All day. And the biggest thing about training opposed to working out is really based on the experience. So the reason why a person would come to see someone like me, it's not really the gym. It has a lot to do with it, but like the relationship building. Everybody's going through something, man.
Yep.
And I was going through my stuff when I was training you, and I'm the coach, you
Hmm.
know. So the biggest thing is what we go and receive from it is just that motivation with all the crap that
Right.
life can throw at us, and other people's opinion matters, especially when that person sincerely cares about you, you know, and knows you. And we spend a lot of time together, and a lot of my clients, they do too.
Yep.
Fortunately, I've been put in a place where there's not a lot that I hadn't seen, you know, or heard. And it's kind of like raising one kid and then you have another one. You're going some of the same stuff that came up with the first kid, it's gonna come up, you know, with that second kid too.
Right.
And so that gives you the experience to help people when it comes to life difficulties, I think, you
Yeah.
know, because everybody don't come with me for the look. And I got people that's told me over the years, it's not about that. It's about the advice and the stuff that we talked about, some things you helped me with, again, which I have experience doing that because I've done it with somebody before, you
Hmm.
know? And I think big reason why people stay with me,
Yeah.
you know, when they come with me.
Yeah. Well, I can see that too. Like, and I don't know if all clients are the same, but like we established, I mean, we're both also country boys from small little country towns. So I mean, that was that was we kind of bonded on that in the beginning. And then I think we were both there, like you were saying, you were going through a lot of the time. I knew you were going through a lot of the time. And I was there for you as much as you were there for me. Like I'd show up so it's important for your client to show up for you as much as
Yeah.
you need to show up for your clients. So,
Yeah.
and I think there was days that we kind of leaned on each other
Yeah.
and it all worked out.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
But
yeah. Yeah, I
you
did.
definitely, like I said, that's just seeing you go through what you went through, and there wasn't a day that I seen Bobby and I could tell that he was having a bad day. Like you'd come in with that smile, you know, that evil smile. I would call it an evil smile because he
Mhm.
was smiling, he was talking sweet to you when you first see him, but then you're fixing to start working out and he's
Oh,
still
yeah.
smiling the whole time, and you're not. Your smile doesn't stay on very long. It's usually
Yeah.
gone. It's usually gone pretty quick.
There you go. There
But
you go.
it was definitely a very memorable time in my life, and that's also too like probably why we've stayed in touch, because that was 5-6 years ago, and we've pretty much stayed in touch. Like we don't call each other every day, but you'll still send me a quote every once in a while. Like another thing that if you work with Bobby, you may wake up to some random inspirational video text for you to watch, which is good sometimes for you to start your day.
Oh yeah.
Because life ain't easy for
Mm-mm.
one. And if you think it's easy, just wait a little bit. It's going
Yep.
because it's going to kick you in your nuts eventually.
Oh yeah, that's right. And money don't make it better either, because
Mm.
Wendell, you got a lot of friends that got a lot of money, and I do too. And we used to talk about stuff like that. I mean, so money don't make life better. I
Mm-mm.
mean, it doesn't make it easier, because some problems money can't fix. You
Right.
know, and what you really need, man. You don't just need God, but you need somebody that genuinely cares about you being okay.
Right.
And everybody in this world just don't, because we're consumed with us.
Yeah.
While we have something, the most I was reading, Wendell, online, the most popular photo now that you can have is called a selfie. you know Not the photos of your kids and you in vacation, or your great grandfather. That's not the most popular photo you got. It's a selfie.
Yeah.
So
That's
that
crazy.
shows you what we're consumed with you
Yeah.
know
It's
so
definitely different times. Like
oh yeah.
and there's not enough of this. That's kind of why, I, if I were to tell you, uh, when we, at the end of the show or later that, hey, Bobby, I'm going to start a podcast, you'd probably looked at me and thought, no way. Cause I'm just not, that's not me, but
Mm,
it's also, there's just not enough of this that where people just sit down and have a conversation.
right.
Uh, and if there is differences, let's talk through these differences.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
because if we sit down and talk about it long enough, it doesn't matter what background you come from, what color you
Yeah,
are,
that's right.
where you live in the world. We're very similar if we sit
Hmm.
down and just talk.
That's right. That is
So
correct.
it's that's one of the reasons that I did it. I don't expect that this is going to be any huge following or something, but I don't do it for that. I do it because I wanted to do it and I enjoy having the conversations with the people that I have the conversations with.
There you go. There you go. Well, the biggest thing I'm gonna say, I think, is gonna happen now that you've started this, um, is the genuine. What you see is what you get when it comes to a guy like you, Wendell. And the biggest thing that people can appreciate nowadays, you're somewhat in the movie business now with your company, and I'm sure you're gonna see that with celebrities that you encounter. There's people that genuinely giving you them.
Right.
A lot of people that you're gonna talk to today and tomorrow. Yeah, you're talking to them, but you're not really talking to them.
Mm-mm. You're
You
talking
know,
to the pretend person that they put
that's
on
right.
for everybody else.
Yeah, and who put them there, or us there, is us.
Mm-hmm.
People just don't think they're good enough, worthy enough anymore. And the most, best friend that you can have is somebody who's not just real and honest, somebody who's just being themselves.
Right.
You don't get that a lot, man,
Right. Right.
anymore.
Well, it's hard to
You know?
these days to be unapologetically yourself
Yeah,
because we all have flaws. Like there's something, like we're all going to say things that might offend the next person. And
right,
especially me, like I'm a small country boy from a little country town. I may say stuff, but there is by no means am I trying to offend anybody. Like
right,
that is the last thing that I'm thinking is how can I go out here and offend somebody today?
right.
Um, and if you tell me, I'll probably try to correct it. Uh,
Yeah.
or we can talk about your feelings and see if maybe you can
Oh
get a
yeah,
little not be so sensitive.
absolutely. Yeah.
Because like
And,
that kind of
and
falls. Go
and
ahead.
that's absolutely true. Yeah, like if in life, with all the different people that I deal with, from doctors, celebrities, singers, to college kids that I deal with, as I tell them, if you try to be someone that you're not, you're really doing the people that you are talking to a disservice. It's like they're buying you, but you're really giving them something and someone else. It's like, I think we're around the same age. I may be a little older than you, but my coach told me it was like when they took the leather jacket off of Fonzie, you know, and when they took it off of Fonzie, the ratings went down. You know, I mean, they went way down off of the show Happy Days.
Right.
And when they, soon as they put the leather jacket back on Fonzie, the ratings went right back up. So you got to keep your leather jacket on if that jacket is a part of you, and especially if that jacket is what everybody fell in love with.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
just being real. You got to always keep that trueness about you. And whenever you or whatever you do in life, I think if you do that, success, because there's no such thing as an overnight success, but that's going to be a long freaking night, you know? But if success has to come, kind of like the law of attraction, it's gonna happen. But you got to give them you, man.
Right.
You got to.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It's just, at this time and age, this day and age, I mean, it's just hard for people to do that sometimes, because we're all struggling. Like, we all have our own self-esteem issues, our mental,
Yep.
mental health. If it's a mental health issue, like,
Oh yeah.
everybody is going through it. Like, it doesn't
Oh
matter.
yeah.
And social media is the best of hiding that, because on social
Mm-hmm.
media, all you see is the good. You don't see,
Right.
you may be watching somebody on social media, and in your mind, you're like, man, they got the best life. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? They're going through the same shit that you're going through. They just
Or
don't.
worse.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Like, they may be going through something twice as bad,
Mm-hmm.
but
Right.
we only want to show the world the good stuff. We don't really want to show the world the bad stuff.
That's true. I had a girl, so my daughter's a TikTok star now. She got over 2 million followers. She's about to do some commercials, national commercials. It's going to be on national television. And she's only 19. So even though she's got this huge following, she's made $1 million this year. She's still a baby. Some things she just don't get
Right.
because she's a kid. So she was talking about a new office she got because she outgrew the other one and had to hire her teenage cousins to work with her because she don't know how to hold an interview at 19, you know.
Right. Right.
So and this girl, one of her fans, she thought, you know, well, you can get an apartment or you can get a new office, and I'm a single mom and I'm struggling just to pay bills, and I'm see something like this, and this doesn't make me feel good. And she was just going off. And Aaliyah was like, Dad, what did I do wrong? I'm saying, Mama, you didn't do nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That comment, that had absolutely nothing to do with you.
Yep. It was all her.
You just got caught in the line of fire.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
Well,
you know, when you and I, we've talked about stuff like that,
yep.
you know, because you're self-made like
Yeah.
me.
It wasn't an easy road.
Yeah.
And I still don't, I wouldn't, if you were to ask me, if you were to just say, hey, do you feel like you're successful? I would say no,
Yeah.
because I'm always still trying to get there. Like, I'm still trying to, like, I haven't made it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's not done. I'm not done yet. So I'm always still, working at it, trying to get better, trying to be better about myself, trying to
Mm-hmm.
treat people better. But perfect point what you're saying, like that with that comment to your daughter. That was all that lady. Like, that was basically, she was spewing all of her negativity and her problems onto your daughter, basically.
Yeah.
And that's very common. Like, instead of lifting each other up, like, I have some friends. I've been lucky, and I'm in a lot of people that are very successful, like, fighters, retired fighters, just a bunch of different stuff. And, they're, I'm happy for anybody that can do anything. I'm 100% as happy for you
Me
as
too.
you are, if not happier.
Yeah.
Uh, it's not your fault that, it's not, has nothing to do with you, what I'm going through. It's my own,
That's
that's my
right.
problem. And I shouldn't push that on you. I should accept that. And then, if anything else, if I see somebody else is doing, maybe I think better than me, that means maybe I need to work a little harder. Maybe I need to
I
do
know
something a
that's
little
right.
different.
Yeah. That's right.
But
Absolutely right.
you should, you know, you should respect them, and then also, appreciate what they've done rather than dismiss it, and, be like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't believe you're doing this and you're doing that and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, like,
That's right. And when you get up to go in the morning, I mean, like example, when you did your show with me, I had every intention, and you had every intention that you were gonna win the whole damn show.
Right.
But I mean, but the guy who's been at it for 10, 15 years that was there that night with you, um, he was more deserving to win the
Right.
whole damn show.
Yep.
But if you were a part of the show, you don't
Right.
have to be the guy in front when the parade comes by. But if you're a part of the parade, you're a
Right.
part of it, man. Then you're not standing by watching it go by. And
Yep.
I'm talking about life and success. And you did it, because like I was telling you, you can commit to a lot of things today, but to actually see them through, man, you know what that takes?
That takes a lot
That takes a lot.
because it's easy to
Yeah,
quit. Quitting's easy.
it's easy.
It's so
You
easy
know?
to quit. Like it's
Yeah.
so easy to just say, you know what, I'm not going to do this today.
Oh yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Uh, but and I guess I don't know. For me personally, it would be if I were I haven't experienced that yet. Uh, but it would be devastating because then I would just nothing but my brain would be like, looking back on you quit, you didn't do it, you quit, you
Right.
quit, you quit. Like I wouldn't need anybody to tell me because it would
Yeah.
just be myself. But
Right.
that's me personally. Like
Yep.
I don't know, I can't say what anybody else's experience is or what they're feeling because I'm not them. All I can tell you is
Right.
my perspective and how I feel.
Yep. That's true. 100.
Yeah.
100. Yeah.
So what's new for what we went way deep in the weeds on that, didn't we?
Yeah. Life takes a while to get off of, doesn't it?
It does. So what's next for you? I know you mentioned something about possibly some motivational speaking and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking to get into that more. Actually been asked to do it more. And looking to open up a gym out here like I had in Texas. Looking to open up a powerhouse gym here as a franchise. We got over 600 locations. I'm looking to open one up, God willing, next year. My daughter, my baby, she was on Good Morning America last week. She appeared on there, and her company. Now that it's blown up the way it is, she got some stuff coming up, national TV commercials, which I can't talk about the company,
Right.
but it's a well-known company that reached out to her, and they want to put her in the commercials, and she's got that going on. So I'm really just kind of help her out, and at the same time, I'm trying to take care of my stuff out here too, because and that may seem like a lot, but the biggest thing that, Wendell, if you remember about me, and that's the thing that me and you have in common, there's a lot of people that I can call, pick the phone up, and ask, "Hey man, spot me this or float me that," but
Mhm.
I won't.
Right.
So I want my own, and that's
Yeah.
the one thing I like about you. You can call some people too, but I know you won't.
Yeah.
So my personal things that I'm working on, has nothing to do with nobody but me. And so in order for them to come to pass, I got to keep working, and I'm not there yet either. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but other than that, just working with my daughter, her and her career, just backing her up. And my son that was in the NBA, he's here now in Atlanta with us, me and my wife, his mom, him and his family. My granddaughter, Alex's daughter, who she's a volleyball. She's into that. Trying to throw basketball at her, but she's a girly girl. She don't want to do it. But I'm gonna keep working on that and keep y'all posted on that. But that's it, man. I got grandkids now.
Man, that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
mine are old enough to have them, but they're not ready to have kids yet, which I'm not pushing.
Yeah.
Uh, I never thought I'd make it to that age just to be a
Yeah.
grandfather.
Yep. Yep. So I got grandkids. I got 7 grandkids.
Man.
My son Alex,
Okay.
someone who was in the NBA with the Memphis Grizzlies. And my granddaughter, this is him with his daughter. She's tall like him.
Oh,
That's her
wow.
at
Yeah,
a
you got older
tournament.
grandkids.
Oh yeah, uh-huh. So and my other boys, they got kids too. So just now life is just hanging out with them, my wife and I, because all the kids are grown now. So just once in my life I can work on me.
Yep.
I'm not in the best of shape. I had a hernia surgery last year. It was a success, which I was actually dealing with this when I was training you, Wendell. I had a hernia that I needed to get out, and I was even talk to you about it from time to time because I was
Yeah.
hurting from it. I got it done. I got it removed. And so I'm back in the gym now, cardio 4 or 5 days a week, and I'm gonna get back into lifting weights now. Telling my sister that this day I got to start back lifting weights, but I am working out again because not in any pain anymore. You know,
Yeah.
so that's all Coach Bobby's doing. That's life
Yeah.
for me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That's it.
I would say I'm somewhat back in the, definitely took a break after the show. I didn't hit the gym for a while. I took a break from anything workout, anything diet. Um, and then moving out here, I've kind of gotten, I would say I'm in okay shape. Like I wouldn't say I'm in shape, but here living here, I'm an outdoorsman. I'm a hunter. I like to spend time in the woods, and I do a lot of hiking here for hunting. So um, I'm in shape enough to, an average bow hunt, you might walk 10, 15 miles, with the 45, 50 pound pack on with your bow. And if you shoot something, then you've got to pack that out too. So
Right.
I'm in shape enough, but I wouldn't say I'm in shape. I'm not getting on no stage anytime soon.
Yeah.
My stage days are behind me.
Okay. Okay.
But I try to I've always tried to take okay care of myself. Like I don't, you know, I'm not trying to win any awards, but I try to keep myself in good and go shape just in case I need to go do something.
There you go. Now, where are you now? You're in Colorado.
I'm in Colorado. Yes, sir. Conifer, Colorado.
Okay. So there, if you had to describe, is it somewhat like Texas in a sense, as far as the way
Nothing.
people are, life? I mean, we hunt in Texas, too. So
Yeah,
you
it's
a
a
lot of that.
different, it's a whole different world here. So Texas is probably, you know, mostly public land. So when you're hunting in Texas, you're hunting on, you're leasing a piece of property. There's public land that you can hunt, but most hunters are leasing a piece of property. You can put up feeders. You're sitting in a box blind, sitting in a tree stand. Here in Colorado, it's mostly public land. So what that means, and you can't put feed down. So you really have to get after them. And then there's a lot of hunters too. So in order to get away from the all the other hunters, you may want to go a little deeper than some of the other than some people are willing to go, which hence
Okay.
the 10, 10, 15 miles. Like you might hike in 10, 15 miles just to get to a camp, just to
Right.
set a spike camp, and then you may hike another 5 or 10 miles from there daily, out from that little camp.
Right.
So it takes a lot of effort, and it's night and day elevation. Texas, we don't have elevation issues.
No. Yeah.
I live at, I think where I'm at here in Conifer, I'm at about 8,500 feet above sea level.
Yeah.
Uh, so it took me a long time just to get used to that, just to get used to the altitude.
How far are you from Montana?
I'd have to look at it, but Montana's just over a few states, so
Okay.
um, it's not too bad. That's
Okay.
definitely somewhere I want to go. Montana's beautiful. I haven't been there
I
yet.
was in Helena, Montana. I was there a year or so before I met you on business. And man, all the guys from Texas and the southern states, we went there to a conference and flew over the mountains. I guess it's kind of like Colorado because we left Houston, it was 90 something. We
Hmm.
got there, it was 51,
Hmm.
48,
Yep.
and it snowed the next day. And When soon as we got off that plane, they said, "Oh, for the people coming from the south, you're gonna experience a little like you can't breathe, but it'll go away." And man, I never experienced nothing like that in my life. It scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Because your lungs, I guess, have to get
Well,
acclimated.
there's less
You know,
oxygen. There's less oxygen in the air.
oh,
You're higher. So
yeah,
it feels like you're getting oxygen, but your body's saying you're not.
yeah,
So it's like, hey, you need to breathe more. And you're like, you get it, you're huffing and puffing. And um, it's definitely, I've been here 2 years now and it's gotten better, but I can still like, it's not the same. Like I can still, like, if I'm out, I'm usually huffing and puffing a little bit more than the locals that have been here their whole life. And then I brought a couple of buddies out from Texas that have come out here. And, of course one of them in particular, he struggled pretty bad. And his wife, they come out pretty regular and she has trouble every time she comes. Like she literally
okay,
has like headaches and just doesn't feel
yeah,
great. Like she just doesn't do very well with altitude.
right,
Because I work in Denver. I think Denver's like 5,600 feet, which is why they call it the mile high city, because it's mile above sea level. And then I'm
right.
about another 3,000 feet above. So when I come home, I drive basically 3,000 feet up.
Wow.
And then I drive when I go down. So I go up and down, and I still like every day driving into work, like I have to pop my ears out going down. And then when I'm coming back up, I have to do it coming back up because I'll feel it starting to kind of build up. And I've been here 2 years and I still, still have little issues with it.
Yeah, my sister's in Minnesota.
Is
I
it,
don't know how far that may be from you.
Minnesota's, I think over there pretty good.
Yeah,
But, and I don't know much about, is it mountainy over there?
yeah, kind of like Colorado. Yeah, it's probably 40 some degrees there. They get a ton of snow every year.
Yeah. When it
Yeah.
starts snowing here,
She's not that far from Canada.
oh yeah. So she's way up. So no, I'm more central and so she's gonna be, yeah, that's a pretty good hike for me.
Yeah,
But you're saying it's so there, is it cool down there in the south right now?
yeah. Well, Atlanta's a little different. I mean, because this is the northern part of the state. You know how Dallas is compared to Houston.
Right.
So, Dallas always going to be colder.
Yeah.
So Atlanta, Dallas, it's going to be 6, sometimes 9 degrees cooler up here than it would be where I'm from. I'm from the southern part of the state. I'm not from here. I grew up in Albany, Georgia,
Okay.
and that's down by Tallahassee, Florida. My son went to Florida State. That's down there. You're almost out of the state where I'm from.
Okay.
You know, where I lean more towards Florida schools because we're right there on the border.
I see that you got that Hurricanes jacket on.
Yeah, and I see you got a Miami Heat jersey behind you there.
No, that's actually the Olympic.
Okay.
That's Shaquille O'Neal's Team USA jersey that
Wow.
I had him sign for me whenever I met him on the show. That we did an episode for his Uncle Roy where we remodeled his Uncle Roy's house in
Yeah.
DeLand, Florida is where it was at. So and then
Wow.
so I got to meet Shaq, and then when I met him, I got him to sign that jersey for me.
That's awesome, man.
It was pretty
Yeah, look
cool.
how Miami Heat colors.
It does, but if it were on the side, you can see the stars, but it does look kind of
Okay.
like a Heat one. I actually got my son a Heat. No, I got my son an Orlando jersey signed while I
That
was
is
there too.
crazy. I'm gonna tell you, I was gonna wait to say this to you, but I was gonna say to you, man, what are you doing with Alex's jersey? Because when Alex was with the Miami Heat, you know what number he was?
What's that? Oh, 13. Is that what you were thinking? I had it up there on the wall
Yeah.
behind me. Yeah. No, that's funny. That's some of that small world stuff right there.
Yeah, man. I say that's my son. Where did he get
Yeah,
the?
I
He got
gotta.
Shaq name on Alex's jersey.
I actually, when we did there in Atlanta, you were saying I was in Atlanta, so we did one with Candy Burrows there in Atlanta. So where we did her Aunt Bertha's house, and
Yeah.
the contractor there was Irving Construction, and I actually got to meet Anthony Smith, which is a
Wow.
retired football player, two-time Super Bowl champ.
Yeah.
I met him. He was one of the owners of the contracting company, and he's, again, very some. Me and him hit it off. We got along great. Uh,
Yeah.
and he ended up sending me a jersey, which is on the wall over there. You can't see it, but it's got
Wow.
he put like, to my dog Wendell, keep being great, and it's a game warden. Like when he played for the
Wow.
Titans, it's one that he actually
Yeah.
wore in the game.
Wow.
And I have a few more that I haven't been able to get up yet. I got a Damar Hamlin. I met him last year on the show, and I still
Yeah.
haven't. I got to hang it up, and then uh, Devontae Adams. We did one with Devontae Adams too, and I haven't got it hung up yet. There's still a few
Wow.
more to put up.
What's the biggest celebrity you've met so far,
I would probably
in
say
your
Shaq.
opinion?
I'd probably say
Okay.
Shaq.
Okay.
Uh, I mean, who doesn't know who Shaq is?
That's right. Yep.
And two, it was a big one for me because I liked basketball. Uh, I'm Michael Jordan is probably my like the god to me. But Shaq's in that like to me, Shaq's probably he's my favorite big man to ever play. So
Oh yeah.
to get to meet Shaq and interact and have conversation
Yeah.
and he was one that he's basically exactly what you see from what I saw.
Yeah.
He's exactly what you see.
Yeah.
He's like a big kid.
Yeah.
Has fun. He's always cutting up, but
Yeah.
he was a good guy, so he was probably one of my favorite to meet.
Okay.
Other than that, I'd probably say, I mean, Devonte Adams probably is right there too because he's pretty big.
Yeah.
Again, super super down to earth, like one of the nicest guys I've met. Really good guy. But then
Okay.
you meet a lot of people on there, like like Candy Burrows. I mean, I knew of who Candy was, but
Mm-hmm.
after meeting her, and then my daughter was actually like, "Oh my God, you met Candy Burrows, and you didn't tell me who what."
Yeah.
But then I realized how big she actually was, like But I'm a sports guy, so I don't pay a
Yeah.
whole lot of attention to regular TV and stuff like
But
that. So
honestly, she's done a lot of chick flicks too, and I don't see you doing a lot of chick flicks unless your wife forced you to watch one with her.
she's made me watch a few, but yeah. What about you? So from your bodybuilding days, what would be your coolest experience that like cool? Who have you interacted with and worked
Without a
out?
doubt, my top, most in Texas would say Ronnie Coleman because he's from Texas, 8 times Mr. Olympia. But I'm gonna have to say Lee Haney.
Okay.
He's 8 times Mr. Olympia. He was before Ronnie, and Ronnie actually looked up to him. He's here in Atlanta because he's from here, and one of my competitors did his show, the Lee Haney Classic, and I got to sit down and talk to him, and knew some of the same people, and just when you meet, when you look up to people, celebrities or whatever, and you read the magazines, you read the stories, you watch them on TV, but when they're standing right there with you
Mm-hmm.
and having an actual conversation with you, man, that's a surreal moment. I'm sure you felt that with Shaq.
Right, right, right.
No,
No, it's definitely different.
yeah,
I'm also very good at like I don't really get caught up and get starstruck, I guess you could say.
yeah,
Uh there's a handful of people and now Shaq was probably the closest that I would say that I was kind of really I would say somewhat starstruck.
yeah. Me too.
But
Yeah,
if you put Michael Jordan in front of me, I don't know if I'd be able to talk to that man. Like I would
yeah,
just probably just stare at him like,
yeah,
oh.
yeah,
uh
yeah.
but Shaq was close. Like and then too, like for me, the coolest part about meeting him was he's a big man, but until you're standing next to him,
Hmm.
there's pictures don't do any like that is a big man. Like
He's
just
seven what?
7'1", I think.
Ah,
7'1", but then not that isn't even what's crazy is you don't really see how just he's a big man. Like
yeah, like a giant.
yeah,
Yeah,
big broad shoulders,
yeah.
just you see most
Man,
basketball players are tall and slender.
well, my son, he's 6'10", and he played with Shaq 1 year. And when him and Shaq, so that's why he didn't have number 32, because Shaq had number
Yeah.
32. Got there. So this is Shaq and this is Alex.
Mm-hmm.
And people, I can say that about my son that would be that much taller because he's 6'10",
Mm-hmm.
but Shaq did it to him, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Big man. Just a big, like I said,
Yeah.
I was a little bit blown away by just the size of him, other than not height, but just how thick he
The
actually
size
was.
of
Yeah.
yeah.
It was pretty cool though. He was, like I said, he was a good guy. His Uncle Roy was awesome. Like his family was great. I got to meet his mom. His mom was,
Okay. I
she was
heard she's
great.
big,
She's
tall.
taller. She was an inch taller than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she gave me a copy of her book. She signed a book and gave me a copy of
Wow.
her book, which I read. It was actually
Yeah.
a really good book. Uh,
Yeah.
so it was
Wow. That's
cool,
awesome.
and again, I'm just a little small town country boy from Splendora, Texas. Like,
Wow.
uh,
Well, you know what, man? You keep hanging out with them celebs. You never know, man. We might see you in a movie.
I don't know about that. I don't know if that's ever happening, Bobby, but uh, I don't know if I'd be down for that.
Yeah. Wow.
I
That
like
would be
being behind.
something.
I'm a behind the scenes guy.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I am too now.
uh, but man, we done wrapped off an hour.
Oh yeah. We
It was
sure have.
so tell everybody where they can find if somebody was interested in hiring Coach Bobby for some online, where do we find you at?
You can reach me. My phone number is public.
Okay. What
You
Instagram?
Googled it. Yeah, the Instagram is private, unfortunately, because I had some pirates stealing my videos and putting it on their page. Young personal trainers in the industry. So I had to block my page from the public. Only clients and friends have access to that. But I've got two phones. I'm talking to you on one, and I got one here. My business line is the same number I had when we were together. I
Okay.
got the same number. It's at 832-419-8310. That's bodybuilding, 219 fitness and nutrition registered number with my company. And if you want to find me online, don't try to remember that number. Type in Bobby Building. If you type in Bobby Building, you don't even have to put the 219. But just Bobby Building, all the stuff will come up on me on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find me that way.
Okay. Well, if anybody out there is listening and they're looking to hire a coach to possibly do a show, not even do a show, just to help keep you in line and meet whatever goals you're trying to meet, I can personally speak for this man that is right here. He will definitely get you there.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. We'll have to do this again too. Like it's been a pleasure getting to sit down and we talk occasionally, but it's not very often we get to talk for an hour. So this was actually kind of good.
Well, when we were talking, I actually text I had a consultation after you and told my client that I'm on the phone with an old friend, and he said, "Take your time." So, but you were worth me missing a client for because we
Well,
just don't talk every day.
right,
You
right. And
know?
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That goes the other way too. And then when I get this thing all sealed up and sent out, I will send you, it'll be, if you want to, it'll be on YouTube, Spotify, Podbean. So you can let anybody know that's interested in hearing it. They can check it out on there. And if any of you people are listening, like I said, reach out to Coach Bobby. He will definitely get your ass in shape if that's what
Yeah.
you're looking for.
I appreciate it. The biggest thing I want to tell you before I go off to go to my client, what we did, me and Wendell, and what I do has absolutely nothing to do with personal training. We have to categorize that as that because what we do is in the gym, and you do have somebody telling you what to do in there. But I'm totally separate from a trainer. Training is training, which is body contouring and physically changing the way you look. Working out is just what it is. It leads to hanging out, which leads to nothing. And that's not what we do.
That's for
That's
sure.
not what we
I
do.
remember hearing that. We're not hanging out. We're not, I remember hearing you say that, but, man, it was a pleasure, Bobby.
Yeah.
We'll do this again. And like I said, I'll let you know when we get this thing all, when I'm done editing and getting it out, but, it's a pleasure. And hey, guys, reach out to him. If you ain't done it already, check him out. He'll definitely give you a help. And, Bobby, we'll catch up again, man. It was good talking to you, buddy.
You take care. Thank you,
You too.
everybody. And we appreciate you.
Yes, sir. We're out.